With each new personality typing system comes new lingo, and that can be intimidating, sometimes off-putting, and can feel less than inclusive. But knowing the jargon demystifies the tool and makes it accessible for your use. And the Enneagram isn't just another personality typing system that tells you about your default modes. It's actually an incredibly informative and practical transformational tool that, get this, shows you the source of your suffering, your blocks and your pains, and then points you in the exact direction of the tools that you need to walk your way right out of your own suffering. So let's get into the beginner's guide, but be sure to stick around until the end of the video to find out why the Enneagram will provide you with more value than any other personality typing system out there. The Enneagram is a personality typing tool that identifies 9 distinct personality types. Each type has a detailed description, not just of its prominent characteristics, but also of its unconscious motivators, fears, and beliefs that drives the way each type behaves, thinks, and even feels. And let me tell you, identifying and reading up on your type can be one of the most validating experiences of your life if you're willing to approach the Enneagram with curiosity and humility. Like I mentioned, there are 9 types on the Enneagram, and if you've binged enough YouTube videos or enough podcast episodes, you may have already discovered and read up on the detailed description of your type. But we also have things like wings and arrows and subtypes and stances and instinctual stacks and on with the jargon. It can be an intimidating new study, so let's break down some of the most basic terms. Type. There are 9 personality types represented here in the Enneagram's physical design. So if you've taken an Enneagram test or course, or you've done a typing interview, you may have walked away from one of those experiences having identified the personality type that better describes you than any of the other 8. So we say that's your type. For example, I'm a type 1. I will also say that you're not your type. You're going to hear 1,001 times from Enneagram teachers and true students of the Enneagram that you are not your type. When we are healthy, integrated beings, we have the ability to consciously access all 9 of the types. But for simplicity's sake, we say our type when we're referring to the one that describes us best or we most strongly identify with. You might also hear the term dominant type. Then we have subtypes. For every number that you see on the Enneagram, there are actually 3 subtypes, and these are 3 distinct different expressions of the main one. That's why when you meet 2 or more individuals of the same type, they can look, sound, and move through life in sometimes slightly or wildly different ways than one another. And yes, if you're doing the math, there are actually 27 types, but let's keep things simple for the sake of this intro. If you're enjoying this video or finding it helpful, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your enthusiasm lets me know to keep creating content like this. We also have wings. These are the numbers that are adjacent to your dominant type. So you may hear people say, I'm a 5-wing 6, or I'm a 2-wing 3. The first number refers to their dominant type, and the second refers to their wing. Wings have their own qualities and characteristics that we want to learn about and be mindful of, since our neighboring numbers influence our personality as well. You might hear that someone has a heavy wing, meaning that they exhibit or take on more qualities of one wing than the other, or you might find that there's an equal balance of influence from both of your wings. The intent, of course, because it's a transformational tool, is that we want to consciously lean into these wings when we want to borrow the high side or healthy qualities of our wing numbers, rather than teetering non-consciously into the low side or unhealthy qualities of these 2 numbers. And that brings us to arrows. Speaking about borrowing qualities, you also have natural access to 2 other numbers on the Enneagram, and those are found at the ends of both of your arrows. The arrow pointing toward your number indicates the type that you move toward or the qualities that you take on when you are feeling secure or what we call integrated. And the arrow pointing away from your number indicates the type that you move toward or the qualities that you take on when you are feeling insecure or what we call disintegrated. Remember, this is an informative and transformational tool, so your arrows are actually going to play a huge part in your personal growth and development, but more on that in another video and when you're ready to dive deeper. Okay, so we covered type, subtype, wings, and arrows. Even though there's so much more jargon that we're going to dive into in other videos, this is a great foundational place to begin in your journey of studying the Enneagram. All right, so why is the Enneagram more useful than any other personality typing system out there? Because it's not a personality typing system that puts you in a box and says, here you are, this is all of you. Rather, it points to the box that you're already in and says, this is the personality you've tried to fit, maybe even stuff yourself into. And here it is, this is the key. Here is the way out so that you can experience all of who you are in this life. Hey, thanks for watching. When you're ready, you can start binging the types, starting with type 8.